It's time, everyone. It's 3 o'clock. Woo! If you all could, please find a seat. Just another reminder that we'd like the conversations at the resource tables to just kind of pause for a little while. We want to make sure that everyone can hear. We're so thankful you're here, and welcome again to the 3rd annual Recovery Rocks. We're going to let some people come this way and take their seats. We will open the resource tables back up in a little while, so don't worry. You're not going to miss your conversations. That's one big reason why we're here. But another reason we're here is so that we can hear from these speakers and you can listen to some awesome music today. Which one? We had a mom blocking the screen. So not only do we want you to hear, we want you to be able to see, because we're going to have some cool stuff up on this wall. All righty. We're going to stay on schedule. So again, we ask that you come, have a seat, and let's go. So I thank you all for being here. My name is Jen H.O.P.E, and it's amazing for me to stand here and look out and see all of you. So I'm grateful you're here. I get the privilege of introducing our MC for today. This journey I've never would have wished for any of us. We've all met because of not the best circumstances, but, oops. My journey's taught me to be adaptable, I'll tell you that. I've met the most amazing people on my journey that I would not have met otherwise, and Aisha is one of them. Aisha's been married for 11 years. She loves spending time with her husband, her 3 adult children, and her 3 granddaughters. She enjoys music, collecting, and scary movies, so we are approaching the perfect season for that. Aisha has a bachelor's degree in human services with a minor in psychology from Indiana Tech. She's a person in long-term recovery from opioid use disorder and from justice involvement. With her lived experience, Aisha obtained certification as a level 2 addiction peer recovery coach with mental health and forensic support enhancements. She also has a certificate as a level 2 alcohol and drug addictions consultant, and she's a supervisor for peer recovery coaches. She founded the nonprofit organization called Project Me. They've got a table out there. Please go check them out and say hi. They offer peer recovery coaching and harm reduction support here in Allen County and the surrounding areas. She uses her passion to support other people and her knowledge of recovery to let them know it's possible to extend mission in the community. So please help me welcome our MC for the day, Aisha.
Okay. Hear me okay? Awesome. So thank you so much, Jen, for the awesome introduction. Isn't she incredible, folks? Oh my gosh. So let's give it up again for Jen H.O.P.E, the whole Mom of an Addict team, and everyone else that it took to bring this wonderful recovery event to fruition. I can just feel the positive energy in here today, and I am about it. So that's because of you all, and I need for you to just keep it up today. All the positive energy, we just want to support and love on each other today. So I personally want to welcome each and every one of you to Recovery Rocks 2022. Let's do it. Yeah, round of applause. It's so amazing that we're all here. So as rad as and exciting as this is, I just want to remind everyone that while folks are up here on the stage, We just want to keep conversations to a minimum, conversations outside the pavilion, so we can just pay attention and hear what all of our great speakers today have to say. And I thank you so much for your cooperation with that. As Jen said, I'm Aisha. I'm a person that's in long-term recovery from opioid use disorder and justice involvement. 14 years almost, folks. So I know that recovery is possible. So I created and run Project Me, as she says. That is a harm reduction and peer support organization here in Fort Wayne, Allen County. So we offer peer support through peer coaches who have personal lived experience. Just meaning that our people who support people have lived experience with substance use disorder and justice involvement. So we kind of know what that's like. And we all have lived experience in recovery as well. And so through the work through our harm reduction street outreach team, we also do widespread dissemination of Narcan, fentanyl test strips, and all manner of harm reduction tools and resources. So we're out here just literally meeting people exactly where they're at in the community and supporting them however they need supported. So while I'm speaking about meeting people where they're at, if there's anyone here today that needs support, there are so many great resources that are here. So we just have a whole collaborative community here in Allen County, but that's present here at Recovery Rocks today as well. So if we can just give a round of applause to all of our amazing supports that are here and our vendors. It just takes all of us as a village. Of course, I have some coaches here at the Project Me table. So if you're somebody that wants some support today, please do. We also have Narcan, fentanyl test strips, and all sorts of harm reduction education and tools. Recovery Cafe is here. Back here. Yeah. And so Recovery Cafe operates on the idea that everyone is in recovery from something. So if you're someone that's here today and maybe you're struggling with something that's other than substance use, please go see my friends at Recovery Cafe and they would love to talk with you. Bare Knuckle Recovery Team is here. And would love to talk through any treatment and support options that are available to get you that help if that's where you're at in your journey today. The HART team is here and will literally help you find treatment and transport you right now. Not a little bit later today, but right now if that's what you need. And of course, the Mom of an Addict team. If you're here and you have a loved one that uses drugs, that is in recovery from substances, or if you have a loved one that lost their life to this devastating disease, please get the support that you need. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you deserve all of the peace and joy also. And there's so many other resources. I can't obviously go through them all, but I encourage you to visit the vendor tables and all of the support resources. We have over 60 of them today, which is incredible. So let's give them a round of applause again. And just thank you all for being here and making this event so amazing. This is incredible. So in addition to all the vendors and resources that we have present here today, I want to make sure to take the time to thank all the sponsors that we have as well. So our diamond sponsors here for Recovery Rocks 2022 include Allendale Treatment and Fort Wayne Recovery, Avenues Recovery Center, Fort Wayne, Aware Recovery Care, and all of these places that I've already mentioned here, these sponsors are all present here today. That tells you anything. So they're not just sponsoring the event, they also wholly support it. Lookupindiana.org, Remedy Live, and Sweetwater as far as diamond sponsors. Let's give them all another round of applause. Platinum sponsors for Recovery Rocks 2022 are Bowen Recovery Center, Cross Connections Incorporated, Hope for Her Incorporated, the Indiana Recovery Network, Inspiration Ministries, Redemption House, Terra Treatment Center, and Vorderman Volkswagen. Gold sponsors are Banyan Treatment Center, the Rescue Mission, and the Shepherd's House. All right, and then our silver sponsors are A Better Life, Brianna's Hope, and a Branch Recovery, Center for Behavioral Health Group, Celebrate Recovery at the Chapel, Clean Slate Medical Centers, Farrington Specialty Centers, Fellowship Missions, Hickory Recovery Network, Imagine More LLC Coaching and Consulting, Luso Detail, and Nahue. So let's just, a round of applause for all of our sponsors. So amazing, they all made this possible today. All right, so y'all have been looking at me for way too long, so I'm gonna get out of here. But before I do, I wanna introduce our first speaker here, Clinton Faupel. So Clinton Faupel is the co-founder and executive director of Remedy Live, a technology-based organization that produces interactive events and includes a crisis center that provides 24/7 hope and live chat interaction for people that are struggling with mental health issues in their life. He's also the creator of the Get Schooled Tour, a 1-hour interactive assembly program that helps lower the stigma around mental illness among students, as well as the Wired Experience, an interactive mental health focused program for businesses, churches, and organizations of all sizes. Clinton has been helping people since 1989 and strives to innovate how institutions can better engage youth and adults at the core of their identity. Clinton speaks to tens of thousands of people per year about how secret struggles do not have to have the final say on their future. He's passionate about helping young people with mental health issues and outfitting parents and educators on how to approach the youth they have relationships with. Clinton is an interactive communicator who uses proprietary technology he helped create to engage his audience. Raised in Western Canada, Clinton moved to the United States in 2001 to serve amidst urban youth. It was there he met his wife, Tanya, whom he married in 2003. Clinton and Tanya have 3 beautiful teenage girls, Eleanora and June, and a younger son, Duke, and live in Northeast Indiana. He is an ordained minister and speaks around the country about messy issues to people of all ages. Can you all please give a warm welcome to Clinton Faupel?
Thank you, Aisha. Wow. I hope all that stuff's true. Guys, I'm excited to be here, and I'm here for a variety of reasons, and I want to know why you're here as well. Remedy Live has an interactive polling platform that we're going to use throughout the afternoon. It is free, so I'm going to get you to pull out your phones right now, and you are actually going to be able to answer questions all afternoon based on what our speakers are sharing with you. It's a chance for us to hear from you, to have an interaction with the audience, and it's pretty simple on how to do it. We've got a slide behind me. If you do have a camera, you can grab a picture of that QR code. RemedyPoll.com is where you want to visit, and your access code today is POLL, that's P-O-L-L. Now, if you're a little suspicious of that, first of all, I just want to be clear, I do not work for the North Korean government. I am here only to be able to help you lower the stigma around this important conversation, and technology makes it easy to do that. It's anonymous. We just want to know how you are. We don't necessarily need to know who you are. I'm also got some incentives. Today I will give away about $500 in Amazon gift cards with some useless trivia questions I'll push to your screens throughout the afternoon in between speakers. So grab your phones, visit RemedyPoll.com, and again, your access code today is P-O-L-L. And from time to time, perhaps Aisha will reference some of the data we're collecting from you, the audience, because we know you're here and we know you're passionate about this conversation. We want to make sure that we are honoring that passion by hearing from you today. And so as you enter into that, you're going to see various data points, even on your own phone. I think we have a live question right now. I don't know if we can push the live results out and see if we've got anybody interacting yet. So we asked you, why are you at Recovery Rocks today? 74% of you said to support the recovery movement. 3% to say, get help for myself. I'm so proud of you being here. 4% to enjoy the delicious food trucks. 14% to get help for someone I care about. 4% to hear some great music, 19% to tour the vendors and these incredible resources we have here in Allen County, and 17% to hear great speakers, and 2% say, I ain't sure. Well, I don't care. I'm glad you're here. And I'm hoping by the end of the day, it is clear why the Lord's brought you here today. I also want to remind you that although we're going to do interactive polling all afternoon long, I'll be pushing questions even when I'm not up here or when Aisha's up here. We are going to be doing that throughout the afternoon. I do want to make sure you're aware. Our booth is back there. We have a chat center, free chat center, open 24 hours a day, 12.5 million interactions since 2014 with people from all around the United States talking about the secret struggles of their life. If we can serve you, if we can serve a loved one, there are How Are You Really cards at our table. It's a great invitation to a conversation, and we want to partner with you as we either help you or the people that you love. And one last shameless plug, I am on the hunt. I am looking for staff people with what I call redemptive baggage. People that have been there, done that, and now they know what it's like to be freed from something that's owned them. And they've been in recovery or they've been free of it for a number of years. I want to put you to work. I've got a team. I need 40 people in the next 3 months to come and work for us because we're about to be called to serve the state of Indiana with 24-hour chat. And I need your help to do it. And there's no better people than people that have been there and done that. So consider that, pray about that. Have a great afternoon. Be on your phone the entire afternoon as well. Have a great day.
How cool is that? So I'll be excited to see some of the poll results as we move throughout the event today. Clinton, that's awesome. Thank you for all that you do. So now let me tell you about 2/8 Band. 2/8 Band is an Indianapolis-based group of musicians and friends who use their music and concerts to unite people and empower faith and recovery communities around the world. The band's lineup has changed over the years, ever since Eric and Jillian first started 2/8 in 2005, but their mission remains the same. Please welcome to the stage 2/8 Band.
How you guys doing out there today? It is so awesome to be close to my hometown. Anybody ever heard of Portland, Indiana? Where you at? Anybody from Portland, Indiana? Where are my peeps? Anybody? Just checking. Population like 6,000, 7,000, you know, that's where I grew up. And we are so honored to be a part of this event. The northeast part of the state is the part of the recovery community that saved my family's life. And so this is a really special event to be a part of. And we'll be telling you a little bit about our story here as we go. But we got Lori Ann on the keys. Give it up for Lori Ann on the keys here today, folks. My friend Scott Naylor over here on lead guitar. We got Scott Boer back here on bass guitar. And my dear friends Ryan Fitzpatrick back here on the drum kit. We all come from a lot of different music projects, and we come together to do events like this that mean a lot to us. So we're going to start out with an all skate. You're allowed to sing along for the all skates. So, you know, if you can start to feel it, please feel free to join in. Here we go. Mustang Sally, gonna have to slow your Mustang down, yeah. Mustang Sally, no baby, come on. You're gonna have to slow that Mustang down. Gonna have to put your 5 feet on the ground. All right, give me a little something over there, Scott. Mustang, baby, 1965. Now you wanna come around, sing along. Don't wanna let me ride your Mustang side. Anybody have one of the new electronic Mustangs? I just gotta know, for a social survey. Anyone? No electric Mustangs out in the house today? Has anyone ridden in one? Anyone? Okay, ma'am, thank you. I'd like to hear about that after the show. That's awesome. One of these early mornings, gonna be wiping your weeping eyes. All right, one more time. Give me a little something. Gonna be wiping your weeping eyes. Right. Thank you. That's a song we wrote for you guys last summer. I hope you like it. All right, we got to play something from Indiana. We got a little bit of a montage of some footage behind us. We love our state. Born and raised in Indiana. Anybody else born and raised your whole life here in Indiana? Okay. I even went to Indiana University. I was the football mascot. I wasn't very good at sports, so they let me mascot, a big inflatable football player. But, yep, Hoosier through and through. So we're going to play this. Let's get some Indiana music going. You guys ready? In a small town, and I live in a small town. I'll be dying in a small town. Oh, the small communities, and all my friends are so small town. My parents live in the same small town. My town is a small town, but there's little opportunity. In a small town, taught the fear of Jesus in a small town. We used to daydream in that small town. Another born romance, that's me. Seen it early in a small town. Had myself a ball in a small town. Met an LA dog run to that small town. She's small town, just like me. No, I cannot forget where it is I come from. Not forget the people who love me. Yeah, I can be myself here in this small town. People let me be just who I wanna be. All the way from Gary, Indiana. to myself, I didn't want you around. Those pretty faces always made you stand out in a crowd. Someone picked you from the bunch, one glance was all it took. Now it's just too late for me to take a second look. Oh, baby, give me one more chance. Won't you please let me back in your heart? Oh, darling, I was blind to let you go, but now since I see you in his arms, I want you back. Yes, I do now. I want you back. Ooh, baby, I want you back. Yeah, 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 yeah. I want you back. Nah, nah, nah. Trying to live without your love, like one long sleepless night. Let me show you, girl, that I no longer right. In every street you walk on, I leave these things on the ground. Following the girl didn't even want around. Oh, baby, give me one more chance. Won't you please let me back in your heart? Oh, darling, I was blind to let you go, but now since I see you in his arms, I want you back. Man, it's so great to be with you guys today. I want to say, before we go any farther, just a thank you for the members of our recovery community up here. If you're a member of the recovery community, can you make some noise? Maybe throw your hands up in the air so we can see where you're at. That's awesome. It means a lot to me, the way you guys show up for each other. It was just about 3 or 4 years ago. My wife, Jillian, who's not here today, she and I had traveled to a lot of different countries doing a lot of prevention work and working with Teen Challenge and different recovery groups in Jamaica and El Salvador and different parts of the globe. And we found out about 4 years ago that our own niece was struggling with a heroin addiction. We had no idea. Didn't see the signs, had no idea. My wife came out of use disorder as well, so that's something that we were familiar with. And then we started finding out how many of our friends and family members were struggling with this. And so we stopped traveling internationally and we said, what can we do to use music to just come alongside and lift up the arms of our amazing recovery community? Because it's you guys who are the reason why my niece is alive today. If it wasn't for first responders, for Narcan, for Brianna's H.O.P.E, for her recovery community in Jay County, and now the Drug Prevention Task Force down there, they're helping out with the whole northeast part of the state. It's awesome, and I'm so proud of my hometown. It's just so sad how many we had to lose to get there. But my niece now is 3 years sober. She's going into jails and helping the next young women find their comeback story. And so I can never stop saying thank you enough and playing shows like this to just lift up your arms and say, please keep showing up. You have no idea whose family member you're saving by just showing up, by just being who you are, being the front end of this. And then who is here who's not a part of the recovery community, but you're here to show your support. You're here to get educated. Awesome. Can you give it up for those guys today? I'm so glad that you're here to join this story. That's awesome. Well, we're going to play a song that we wrote. It's called River of Hope. I had a chance to write some songs with a guy who's won some awards down in Tennessee. His name is Jason Roy. He's the lead singer of a band called Building 429. And I told him, I was like, in 2020 when we were writing this, I was like, if there's anything we just really need right now, it's hope. And not the kind of hope like when everything's looking great in your life, you're like, yeah, it's great, sunshine and rainbows. No, the kind of hope that can meet you in the hell that you're in right now. Where heaven can collide with hell, where light can collide with darkness, and where we can find hope right where you are today. And so this song is called River of Hope. I want to dedicate it to you guys. Here we go. Running through canyon of fear. You're a mountain strong, unbreakable, unshakable. When the rain falls and the wind blows, when I'm shaken to the bone, when the darkness comes to steal my life, and I don't know where to go. You're a river of hope, it's running through a canyon of fear. You're a mountain strong, unbreakable, you're unshakable. And I'm running to you, yeah, I'm running to you. You're a mountain strong, you're my river of hope. Well, there is power in your name. It's stronger than my enemy. Oh, they tremble at the sound of your voice as it calms the storm in me. You're my river of hope, running through a canyon of fear. You're a mountain strong, unbreakable, you're unshakable. And I'm running to you, yeah, I'm running to you. You're a mountain strong, you're my river of hope. 'Cause even breathing is hard sometimes. But through every struggle, every fear, I don't have to worry about the finish line. No, it's when I know that you are here, that you're standing with me. Help me out. 'Cause you're my river of hope, it's running through a canyon of fear. You're a mountain strong, unbreakable, you're unshakable. You're my river of hope, running through a canyon of fear. You're a mountain strong, unbreakable, you're unshakable. I'm running to you, yeah, I'm running to you. 'Cause you're a mountain strong, you're my river of hope. Thanks so much, you guys. We'll be around for the rest of the festival. Can't wait to hang out with you some more here soon as well. But we'll be, also, we have that, evidently they make these things called CDs. It stands for compact disc. And if you don't have one in your car anymore, you could probably rent one at the local library next to the VHS player. But we have some of those. If anybody's been clean over a year, I'd love to give you one of those. We've got about 5 songs that we're doing tonight. And great to be with you. We'll be back soon.
I don't know if I'm on. Wow. So let's show some more love for 2/8 Band. They were incredible, right? So I don't know about y'all, but music soothes my soul. So good. It was such a good recovery coping skill for me to have music. So I very much just appreciate you sharing your gifts and stories with us today. It's incredible. So, y'all, thank you for responding to the polls that Clinton talked about. I want to share one of those results with you now because I think it's incredible. So, one of the results that we got from the poll is that half of the crowd who responded to that poll are in recovery here today. If you're in recovery, can you just give yourself a round of applause, please? Yeah, that's amazing. It's amazing, amazing. So now let me introduce, and while we're speaking of individuals that are in recovery, I love this whole group. They're powerhouse, and there's a few of them. So let me just get into this. I'm gonna get all off track because I do love them. So formed in 2021, right here in Northeast Indiana, the Bare Knuckle Recovery Team is a group of individuals in long-term recovery from substance use who share their experiences and offer encouragement to people all over the world. So please help me right now in welcoming Nate, Tommy, Alicia, Nathan, Jamie, and Zach to the stage, the Bare Knuckle Recovery Team. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction, Aisha. Thank you guys all for being here today. This looks like a bigger crowd than it was last year, so that's awesome. So give yourselves a round of applause for being here today. Thank you guys very much. All right, so my name is Tommy Streeter. This is Zach Dawson, Nate Mullering, Jamie Case, and Nathan Rivers. Unfortunately, Alicia was not able to join us today, but she's with us in spirit, like always. So our topic today was regroup. And last year, you guys had to endure Nate and I talk for 5 or 7 minutes, or however long we rambled on for. We wanted to switch it up a little bit this year. So we've got Zach, the newest member of the bare knuckle recovery team. So Zach, we talked about this a little beforehand. When you hear the word regroup, what does that mean to you?
So regroup is one of the toughest things. It's the scariest thing when you come into recovery. It's changing everything. And when I mean that, like, you walk into these rooms to start your recovery and you got to change your people, places, and things. Those are the 3 scariest things to change. But that's what regrouping is all about. It's building a social, sober network to really change your life, develop your opportunities to, have people to lean on or to confide in or to really work your sobriety, such as NA, AA, everything that's out there that can, such as these events that can really, truly bring positive people into your life.
What are the group of people that you used to spend your time with? What did that group of people look like? What did they mean to you? What did they do for you in life? What do the people today that you've surrounded yourself with do for you in life?
So people in my past, they don't do anything in my life anymore. I do have those true friends that have always been there for me, but those weren't my using friends. And that's where I was so surrounded with. And those were the people that I thought cared about me, and that's why it was so hard to just change everything. But it's one of those things that I had to really, really direct myself towards and work on my recovery. Changing those people in my past and having new people, such as the bare knuckle recovery team, NA, AA, everybody that I work with, continuing that sobriety, that social network was so key for me.
Okay, I lied. You're going to have to hear from Nate a little bit. Nate, the new relationship, yeah, Fox News, I know, we get it. So, Nate, the new relationships that you have, the new support group that you have, you're going to talk about how you went to DC here in a little bit, but locally, for your community, what have those new relationships been able to do for you and the community? How have they benefited the community?
These new relationships that I formed were not something that I even knew was part of the plan for me. I didn't seek out new relationships when I was lost and broken. I believe that God brought them into my life. I had people who loved me and who cared about me, who prayed me through a lot of things, but there was a man who walked into my life at one point, his name was Detective Mark Gerardo, who said, I'm gonna be part of your regroup, whether you want me to or not. And he viewed me as a person, he told me I had value, and as many of you know, he sent me to treatment. He's the reason I'm standing here today. And as that has gone on, one of the things I learned is that I could only keep what I have by giving it away. And what I decided to do was regroup when I got back, because I had been part of the problem for so long that I just now wanted to be part of the solution. So when I got back, slowly but surely, I started to change my people, places, and things. And that has taken me farther than I could ever imagine when I was sitting on that couch after overdosing twice in 24 hours. And when they told me, Nate, you're not gonna make it a third time, I said, that's okay. I said, don't come, because I'm done. But they didn't accept that. This community, last year I challenged everybody in here. I challenged all of you to regroup. I said, you're gonna take action. Remember, I said, Northeast Indiana, we have to come around each other, support each other, because the federal government's not coming. Guess what? They saw what all of you did with that challenge, and they reached out to us. Yes, they sent me to DC to talk to a study committee of congressional members of Congress. Yes, they had me on Fox News, but that's because of all of you. You all decided to regroup. The opposite of addiction is human connection. All of you sitting here today have said that you're not going to accept things the way they are. You're not going to accept this epidemic. We're not going to accept that the leading cause of death for people 18 to 45 is drug overdose. So you all have done a great job of regrouping. My regrouping through the community, and you guys doing the same thing. I was there, but you guys were there with me. I know you were all praying for me. You all have my back. In Northeast Indiana, all of you, yes, you are leading the fight for a nation. We're leading the way.
It's amazing. It's truly, truly amazing.
What he said, I can't really follow that up with anything. So I think that'll be it. So again, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for listening to us. We appreciate each and every one of you. Keep doing what you're doing, guys.
You guys are making it happen, you.
Awesome. So thank you each for just being exactly who you are and for working so collaboratively to reach so many. As you all know, because in a separate poll, 54% of you have already heard of the Bare Knuckle Recovery Podcast, so that's incredible too. We have another just round of applause for Bare Knuckle Recovery team. All right. So I'm going to keep moving along as I'm just really excited to hear our next speaker. So Mary Collins is an award-winning news anchor for achieving and maintaining the #1 position in ratings and demos. Mary's other accolades include being a skilled news director and a successful digital, social, and video marketing creator. Mary is also a recognized community advocate who promotes health and wellness throughout our area. Deep down, Mary is a storyteller at heart. She has a passion and a knack for finding stories and for helping others tell their stories. So please turn your attention back to the stage up here and let's welcome Mary Collins.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, owning our story can be very hard. But running from our story, so much more difficult. Facing the darkness opens infinite possibilities and heads us towards the light. Brene Brown, author, a huge part of my story. My job of anchoring the news was never a job, it was an honor to welcome people to their day, unhardened, share a cup of coffee, and say good morning. It was a dream come true. I would often get the chance to work with new producers, brand new into journalism. They'd be working overnight in the newsroom, which is a dark place anyway, usually less than 21 years old. And my alarm would go off at 1, I'd be in there at 2, not my favorite part of the work. And I'd come in and I'd say, what do we have today for the news? And they'd say, oh, we got this great story. There's body parts everywhere and blood. And they'd look at the expression on my face and I'd say, you see, this was back at a time when YouTube was just becoming publicly consumed. We were released from the network feed and the censorship of what would come down on ABC and NBC. So to a 19-year-old young producer, YouTube was like taking you to a buffet after you'd been starving for weeks. It was all kinds of content. So when Jen Hope asked me to talk about rewrite today, it reminded me of how I would dash the hopes of those new producers when I would say, no, that's not what's going to be in the newscast. I would point to their computer, because I always had them keep an avatar on their computer of who might be watching us that morning, who we were lucky enough to say good morning. And I'd say, does Jane need to know, taped on your computer? And he'd be like, no. I'm like, she's been up all night working on a work presentation. She's trying to get hair braided, get the kids out the door, finish the laundry, and make sure she's not late. She doesn't need to know that. She needs to know that the world's okay. Gas prices might go up, and what's the weather going to do? We have a choice as to how we start her day. And we have a choice as to our own personal newscasts every single day. Those stories that we allow in, they can make us or they can break us. And I know that because the story that I allowed in kept me in a very dark place for a very long time. I went from anchoring the news and bringing you the headlines to becoming the headlines. And I did it overnight. It looked like I had it all, and I did. So who does that? I didn't just do it once, you guys. I did it 2, I did it 3 times. And yes, publicly imploding is devastating. But taking your innocent 3 boys with you, unthinkable. What parent does that? Who does that? Who is this monster? Who was I? What had I done? Why did I do it? Those stories kept me sick for a very long time. And it wasn't until my 3rd go-around where I decided to lose everything again. I say I decided. I know now that I didn't have the choice of deciding that. That a counselor came into my home to work with my youngest son, Sam. And I just thought, yeah, what is this 24-year-old going to teach me? My son, Sam, wanted nothing to do with another counselor. My kids wanted nothing to do with me, and they shouldn't have. Because they went from being the rock star kids to, we can't let our kids go to that house. You know what's happening, right? No, we really don't. So this counselor came in, all of 24 years old, and he sat down. My son Sam wanted nothing to do with him. He was playing Legos upstairs, and he had his shoes off, and he sat Indian style on my couch. And I knew something was different about him right then and there because he had 2 different socks on. I thought, this is my kind of guy. And when my son Sam wanted nothing to do with him, he looked at me, and he didn't give me the same old BS of, are you working your steps? How many days do you have? I have 32 seconds. How many days do you have? 32 years. It kept me down for a long time. I just said, do you know what I've done? He said, I've read your file. I said, who does this? At 40 years old, who begins to self-implode and takes all their kids with them? Why couldn't I have done this like everybody else at 24? And he just looked at me, he said, I read your file, I don't know. I know what you've done. I don't know what's happened to you to cause it. And then he said, probably the most important thing that was said to me in all of my recovery. He said, are you done? And I said, done? Are you kidding me? Do you know what I've done? He said, no, I'm asking you, are you done? I know you've asked God for his forgiveness. Are you ready to accept it? And I really didn't know what to say with that. That was new. That was different. He said, because until you do marry 40-year-old self-imploder, you're going to miss what it is that he must think you can do with this. Because no, I don't read about 40-year-olds self-imploding again and again and again and taking families with them publicly. I mean, you didn't just fall once, you continued to do it. So he must have something really special for you. And at that very moment, my story changed from what I'd done to who I was supposed to help, what I was supposed to do with what had been done. He said, I can't wait to see it. You know what else he said? Mary, parents fall. They make mistakes. But if they get up, man, what is that going to do for your kids when they fall? My kids were in grade school, middle school, and high school. That did not look like an achievable goal to me. What I know now is we are all born with this empty hole, right? And it's what we fill it with. And I truly think everybody here, myself included, we are the absolute luckiest people on earth because we get to know what's wrong with us. Most people will wallow around in their problem and hide it because they're so ashamed. I don't know what it is, if it's shopping or if it's porn, if it's drinking, it's holding them back. But we have a solution. There's no gray. We get sick enough that we have to get well or we don't get well and we leave this earth. We have a solution. And for that, I am eternally grateful. So my story got to change, and thank God that it did. Because what I have is an opportunity now, the miracles that I've seen unfold before me, every day, it's somebody new that I get to touch. It's what I get to do with this. And it always keeps me humble. My story 6 years ago today, and this did not dawn on me till about 24 hours ago. This day would end very differently for me. My day 26 years ago started with a Bloody Mary, a public Bloody Mary. Of course, I had my rum chata and half vodka hidden in a closet somewhere that would keep me where I needed to be, because I didn't have a drinking problem, I had a thinking problem. I had no problem drinking, and when somebody says, oh, she's got a drinking problem, I'm like, no, they don't. They can drink better than the rest of you. I have a thinking problem. You hurt me, I'll hurt me worse. 6 years ago on this very day, probably about this very time, I had to leave to go get my youngest son for religious ed, and I was in no shape to do so. But when I was told I'd be fine, I thought, you hurt me, I'll hurt me worse. Just watch, I'll get in my car. This day would end with my youngest son watching his mom be put in handcuffs in the back of a police car, where I would go and lay on a jail floor, and I would think, I am not going to leave this jail alive. I cannot look my kids in the eye and tell them that I've done this again. I can't face that. My story today is that I'm standing up here through the grace of God to share with you that we have a choice in our stories. And if that counselor hadn't come in with his 2 different socks to talk to my kids and tell me that parents fall, but they have a choice to get up. I'm here to tell you, whatever mistakes you've made, your kids can't wait to see you go and just make a rock star out of yourself. Every one of my kids sent me a text today or threw me hugs. You know what they say? Just when I think I can't be prouder of you, Mom, you do it again. And when people would tell me that, I just wanted to shake them and say, don't you know what I've done? We have the most forgiving God, and our kids are so amazing, and they will fall, and mine have. And then they look back and they're like, she just owns her truth. So whatever story that you have, I hope that you'll share it, because your path of destruction today is going to be somebody else's survival guide tomorrow. I promise. I am so grateful for you being here. I am so grateful through the grace of God that this day is going to end, God willing, and my choice is provided quite differently than it did 6 years ago. Thank you.
Going to change it up a little bit. I wasn't supposed to be here right now, but first off, if you could just kind of keep the conversations to a minimum. It's getting a little loud in here, and what's coming up next, I want to make sure everyone can hear. Like I said a little while ago, I've met some amazing people on my journey. I never would have wished the circumstances on any of us, but I've met people I can no longer imagine my life without. We're having our wall of remembrance come up next. So the band's going to join us, and they're going to play a song. I just want to take a moment where we can remember and honor those lives, those beautiful people who are not here with us today in person, but will always be in our hearts.
I know your life on earth was trouble, and only you can know the pain. You weren't afraid to face the devil. You're no stranger to the rain. So go rest high on that mountain. Shout your word on earth is done. So go to heaven to shout love for Father and the Son. Oh, how we cried the day you left us. We gathered round your grave to grieve. Wish I could see the angels' faces when they hear your sweet voice sing. So go rest high on that mountain. Child, your word on earth is done. Go to heaven a shout, love for Father and the Son. Go rest high on that mountain. Child, your word on earth is done. Go to heaven a shout, love for Father and the Son. Go to heaven a shout, love for Father and the Son.
Sorry, excuse me. All right, can we give it up again for the 2/8 band? It's so unfortunate the lives lost to this devastating disease, but thank you all so much for just allowing us to have a space where we can honor them today. So let's just do another round of applause just for whatever, lives lost. And so we're gonna move on to our next speaker. Greg Andrews is a native of Fort Wayne, Indiana. He joined the US Navy and ended up deployed to Operation Desert Shield in the Gulf War. Greg is currently an information technology professional by day and a licensed professional counselor in the evening. He's also an ordained pastor and chaplain. In Greg's spare time, he's involved in a music ministry called Jacob's Well. Can we all please just give a warm welcome to Greg Andrews, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Greg Andrews, and I was tasked with the word receive. So a lot of times you're thinking to yourself, receive, how am I supposed to receive anything? Well, one way is to make sure your hand is open. So I'm going to give you a little bit of history on who I am and why I'm going to talk about receive. You see, when I was 4 years old, I was sexually molested. Did I get everybody's attention? 4 years old. That can traumatize a kid because at the age of 4, Your innocence has now been taken from you. My childhood would be messed up for many years to come. In fact, it was so messed up at the age of 9, I wrote my parents a letter. And I was doing my best to say goodbye at the age of 9. That's trauma. You know, it was stated that I was a combat vet, United States Navy. I came home with PTSD. I saw a little too much over there, and it affected who I became. So not only do I have this trauma of childhood issues, I now come home with PTSD, combat-related issues. So what's the one thing that you're going to do? I started self-medicating. I am a former addict. I've done meth, acid, coke, crack. I'm sure there's something else out there that I've tried and done. Oh yeah, weed. The thing is, my life had become unmanageable. And I knew deep in my heart I needed help. And do you know there's resources out there that were willing to help? I look at all the tables back there, all the resources that are available today. You see, back then, there weren't as many, but there were people willing to help. All I had to do was receive it. The one thing I've learned about receiving is sometimes you have to swallow your pride. Did you catch that? Everybody has a little bit of pride, right? I had to swallow mine. I had to humble myself and say, you know what? I need help. But it's so difficult to receive the help. Something else that I've learned over the years is when I was going to church, I learned about Jesus, I learned about God, I learned how you can be delivered from a lot of things in life. I was able to receive Jesus into my life. Now, I'm not up here to become, I don't know. Did you mention that I was a pastor? Yes, I'm a pastor now. So, no, I'm not going to be up here and do one of these numbers. And in closing, 45 minutes later. But I learned in receiving Jesus, I also learned how to receive the help I needed. Something else I want to leave you with is an acronym called HOPE. Now, I made this one up, so you can't have it. HOPE stands for Holy Objective Plan with Expectation. So what does that mean? Well, you got to understand what holy is. Holy is showing a devotion to God and to life of virtue. Objective means something that one intends to accomplish. Plan, a method worked out in advance for the achieving of some objective. An expectation, the act or state of looking forward to some occurrence. Now, when you put all that together, you're able to receive hope. So I'm going to leave you with this. And in closing, can everybody see my t-shirt? It says live with a semicolon. I'm part of a group called Live. It's Team Live, if you will. It is our goal to put a t-shirt on every single teen, adolescent, child. It's our goal to put a t-shirt on them for free. Why? Because like so many, like even me, I was suicidal even as a teenager. I struggled with a lot of different things. How many of you have ever contemplated suicide? I can raise my hands twice. In fact, I wear these two wristbands because they talk about saving a life, and the other one is we can stop suicide. It is my hope today that if you are struggling, that you will find hope and be able to receive the healing that you can have in your life. It's not an easy road, but I will tell you, the harder you work at it, the easier it becomes. And you're not alone. You are never alone. If you consider this event, you can look next to you. You can look over the way. There's always going to be someone that can truly relate. So I thank you for this opportunity to address you, find hope, and be able to receive it. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. That was amazing. And speaking to some of our results, so from Mary's, there was a great big percent of you all that identified with portions of Mary's story, and then there were a great big percentage of you that also identified with Greg's story. So that just shows you the power of sharing our recovery stories with each other. It's empowering, and we just get the sense that we're not alone, right? So let's give another round of applause for Greg before I introduce this next group of folks. So I feel so incredibly grateful to get to next introduce a stellar group of humans and providers to you all. They are also my friends. The Hope and Recovery team, or the HART team with the Fort Wayne Police Department, is a peer support team made up of members of the greater Fort Wayne area community. The team is a mobile response team that seeks out and actively engages residents in Allen County to support them on their road to recovery with addiction and mental health. Please welcome to the stage Fort Wayne Police Department Captain Kevin Hunter.
Thank you so much.
And the Fort Wayne Police Department's own master level social workers, Darcy Robbins. And Samantha Taylor. Yay, the HART team.
Thank you all for having us here today. This is such a great event, and we're so excited to be a part of it. My name is Kevin Hunter. I'm captain with the Fort Wayne Police Department. And in 2019, we decided to do something different. We were seeing overdoses on a regular basis, and we're like, we've got to try something new. So we worked with the Lutheran Foundation, we worked with Parkview Hospital, we worked with the court system, and we came up with a new program, and we call it the Hope and Recovery Team. What we have are 2 detectives that go out and follow up with people who have overdosed and connect them to treatment services. And then we're lucky enough to have these two master's level social workers to help us also connect people to treatment services. So we're really excited to have them as part of our team. I will tell you there are not very many police departments that have social workers embedded in their police departments, but we're one of those. And again, thanks to the Lutheran Foundation for helping us get a grant to pay for that. So here's what I've discovered. I've been working in narcotics for the last 10 years. And if we could arrest our way out of this overdose crisis, we'd already be done with it. So we have to do something different. So what is it that we need to do? We really need to focus on treatment and recovery and helping people get better. So that is our focus for this team. And what I will tell you is the last 3 years we have set records for overdose numbers. Last year was the worst yet. We had 173 people die of overdose in Allen County last year. And that makes me very sad, because an overdose death is such a senseless death. I can't tell you the number of parents that I've spoken to that have lost children to an overdose, but it is one of the saddest things that I've ever done in my career. But I will tell you, there is hope out there. Events like this, all of the treatment providers that we have in this community now, we have hope to help people get better, to help find recovery and treatment and get their lives back. So I want to thank all the treatment providers that are here today, all of the ones that we work with, and thank you again for everything that you're doing to make our community stronger and better. So I'm going to turn it over to Darcy.
Okay, so we're going to have the Wall of Hope celebrating those in active recovery, and then we're going to have it produced by the 2/8 band.
Wait, let's do one sec.
Oh, wait, can we do a selfie with you?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Everybody smile.
Okay, everybody
Smile! Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hit my knees, now here I stand. There I was, now here I am. Here I am. Changed. I'm changed for the better. I got off track, I made mistakes. Slip my way back to that place. Souls get lost, lines get crossed, the pain won't go away. I hit my knees, now here I stand. Well, there I was, now here I am. Here I am. I'm changed for the better. More smiles, less bitter. I'm even starting to forgive myself, yeah. I made mistakes, backslid my way back to that place. Souls get lost, lines get crossed, the pain won't go away. that place. Roads get lost, lines get crossed, the pain won't go away. I hit my knees, now here I stand. There I was, now here I am. Here I am. Oh, I'm changed. I'm changed for the better. Thank God I'm
Thank you again, 2-8 band. You all are amazing. And I hope you all enjoyed watching the Wall of Hope up here. I've got some more poll results, and these kind of make my heart a little bit sad, but you're in the right place. So 79% of those who responded have had thoughts of suicide in the past 30 days. That's surprising. I guess surprising and also not. I'm a survivor of multiple attempts, and I've struggled with suicidal ideation my whole life, so I'm glad you're here. I'm just glad that you're here today. Not unlike myself and many of you that are here today and the other speakers, our next speaker is proof that recovery is possible. We're oh so thankful that he's here with us today. Nationally known speaker, author, and consultant David Parnell is a methamphetamine and suicide survivor. After spending 23 years addicted to drugs, he attempted suicide by shooting himself in the face with a high-powered rifle. He has since devoted his life to educating others about the dangers of methamphetamine and other drugs while promoting recovery and spreading hope. He is also a staunch advocate for drug-endangered children. His message is captivating and his presentations graphic. David has been on TV and radio and featured in newspapers and magazines worldwide. He was a volunteer for the Partnership for Drug-Free America's documentary titled Meth Nation for the Discovery Channel. He was a volunteer for the Partnership for Drug-Free America's national advertising campaign, my bad, and took part in a documentary titled Meth Nation for the Discovery Channel. His efforts have been recognized by law enforcement, political officials, emergency services, educators, parents, students, and countless others nationwide. He is also a member of the Western Cherokee Tribe of Arkansas and Missouri and has worked closely with other tribes throughout the United States and Canada to prevent the use of methamphetamines. David currently resides in Tennessee alongside his wife Amy with several of their children while enjoying over 19 years in recovery. Please help me welcome David Parnell to the stage.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. I want to tell you a little bit about myself before I get going with the program. Of course, I am a recovering meth addict, a recovering alcoholic, and an ex-convict. I'm also the husband to a wonderful woman named Amy and the father of 7 beautiful children. I started out using drugs at about 13 years old. Let me get my clicker working. You may have to click it for me. Go ahead. Like most people, I started out as a young teenager. And what we know is the younger that a person starts using, the more likely and the bigger chance is that they're going to be a drug addict. Now, I had opportunities to go to college and play basketball on scholarships I was being offered, but by the time I'm a senior in high school, all I really cared about was where I was going to get that next bag of dope at. At that point, it was the 80s, and we had the crack cocaine epidemic in the United States, and I got turned on to the cocaine, and once I started using that, I no longer cared about going to college and playing ball. All I cared about was the drug. As I got out of high school and married my high school sweetheart, when the marriage failed at 21 years old, I moved to Dallas, Texas. Did I do that? You did it? Huh? Did you click it? No, I think my clicker is working. So as I moved to Dallas and my first marriage failed, I got turned on to methamphetamine. We didn't have meth in Tennessee or Indiana at the time in the late 80s. It started in California, swept across the country, but once I started on the meth, that's when my life really went downhill and really fast. It is the most devastating drug I've ever seen on a human being. Not only their body, but their mind, their family, the community. And as this drug really got a hold of me, I come back from Texas, met my second wife, Amy, who I have 7 kids with, and got her to using. And once I got Amy to using, that's when my kids really suffered the most, is because now they was being severely neglected. Go ahead. And as I got Amy pregnant with our first kid, I told her I was going to take a trunk load of marijuana to Oklahoma to sell it, and I'd be back in a couple of months. I wasn't out there 2 weeks before they raided the house, sent me to McAllister, Oklahoma State Prison. 2 years later, I got out of prison and come back to Tennessee, met and got with Amy, and we started having more kids. That's my oldest daughter, who's about to be 30. You can only see her shoulder in this picture. Kids ask me all the time, why ain't she in the picture? She's in the original picture, but there's another guy sitting over beside me, and I had to fold it in order to put it on the PowerPoint. And I tell those kids that when you're a heavy drug addict like I was, we don't have any family photos of the early days. This is one of the only photos that we had as our little family when I got out of prison. So as we start having more kids and the meth got worse and worse, I eventually become very suicidal, like it does most people. And like most young people, I didn't really want to die. I just wanted the hell to be over that my life had become, and I didn't see any way out except for the suicide. Now this picture is just a couple of months before I shot myself. I eventually ended up taking an assault rifle, putting it under my chin and pulling the trigger. My wife wanted me to put this picture on here because she said it doesn't look like the same guy that from that picture earlier where I got out of prison. Here I'm strung out and I'm really mad at the world. It was like I had an empty hole in my soul. I could not fill it with all the drugs in the world. And the only thing that I found to fill that hole was Jesus. People ask me, how did you recover? And I tell them everybody's got their own way, but for me, just like the young man that was up here earlier, it was Jesus that changed my life. I wanted to live like this guy I was reading about, where I wasn't full of hatred, but full of love. And that's what meth does. It robs you of the ability to be able to feel love and compassion for other human beings, and we're just filled with hate. So I couldn't see it like that though back then. On the February the 21st of 2003, when I come home and my wife and kids was moving out and was leaving me, we had 6 kids at the time. I asked her to lay down and talk about it. She agreed to lay down and talk to me, but soon as she laid next to me, she said, me and the kids are still gonna leave, but I'm gonna lay here and talk to you for a minute. And when she said that, something in me snapped. I reached over the top of her, grabbed my SKS rifle, laid it on my stomach. And I remember what I thought. I thought, that's it, I'm gonna blow the top of my head off. This dope has robbed me of everything. Amy didn't know what I was gonna do at the time till she heard the gun click where I clicked the safety off. And then she screamed, reached to try to grab the gun. Before she could grab it, I pulled that trigger and the bullet entered me under my chin and come out between my eyes, breaking every bone in my face. Now these pictures I'm gonna show you are from my sheriff's department. I've been doing these programs for almost 19 years. We've been in 38 states across the country doing junior highs and high schools. That's what I usually do. I just got back 2 weeks ago from Alabama, and I tell them kids, I didn't put them on here to shock you, but I noticed there was a lot of young people running around today. If you don't want them to see it, now's the time to look down because they are very bloody. Now I put them on here to show young people the reality of what drug addiction will cause somebody to do themselves, and even more importantly, to the ones that love you, because that is the true victims, the ones that love us. So as the gun blast went off, you would think that it would knock me unconscious, breaking all the bones in my face, but it didn't. Meth is such a strong stimulant, it kept me awake during all of this. I didn't pass out until I finally lost enough blood that I went unconscious. They decided to take me 2.5 hours in an ambulance. Yeah. They decided to take me 2.5 hours in an ambulance. Go ahead, one more, right there. And got me to Nashville to a trauma center. And the ambulance driver saved my life twice that day. The first time when my heart stopped, he got me going. The second time was when I couldn't breathe because of swelling of my throat. He got an air tube down my throat and he kept me alive till they got me to Nashville Trauma Center. I told my wife about a week later when I woke up that I wanted to tell people the truth about drugs. I had the guilt on my heart of selling dope in my community for 20 years. And when I wrote that, I meant I just wanted to help people in my community. I never dreamed God was going to take me all over this country, into Canada and London, England, and other places that I've been. I still don't know how these people hear about a hillbilly like me from down in Tennessee, but I have been all over the country in the last 19 years doing these programs, hoping to help some kid. Because see, it doesn't matter if I was on drugs 23 years or 46 years. There is always hope. You can recover, and that's the truth. A lot of people in Tennessee, especially on my sheriff's department, they thought when meth first hit our state that there was nobody that could ever recover from this drug. And they actually told me that, some guys I went to school with that are now law enforcement officers. They said, we have never seen anybody in the last 7 years since it hit our area of Tennessee recover from meth. But people do recover. It's just that it was so new there that they hadn't seen it yet, but they have seen a lot recover now. Go ahead, another one. Go ahead. Go ahead. I don't think this was, go ahead, one more. Yeah, this is the right PowerPoint. I got about 50 PowerPoints. I didn't know if we had to write one up or not. But there is hope in recovery. Go ahead, another one. A lot of these people are my friends on Facebook and people that I've met over the years. And like this couple right here, I just love them guys. And some of them are from here in Indiana, just like there's a couple in here from Indiana. And so that you can see, because see, I used to put the pictures before and after of somebody, how healthy they looked, and then show the gruesome pictures of them on meth. And at one point I thought what I need to do is show the worst picture and show the people that recovered and how beautiful that they are and the miracle that has taken place. So there is recovery in addiction, and anybody can recover. It's just if you want it bad enough. Now everybody has their own ways. I used the Bible, it helped me a bunch, but I also had to have some kind of void to feel that addiction. Because some of us are just naturally addictive personalities, and I am one of those. If I get a food that I like, I want to eat it till I'm sick of it. I don't know why I'm like that, but I do. So I took up gardening. You may have to, you may be into something else. You may be into writing poetry or painting or something. Whatever it is, go to that and start using that to get through them hard times. And I'm telling you, it'll really help. Now, I started gardening. And as I started gardening, of course, with my addictive personality, I would put out 100 tomato plants. My wife said, there's only 2 of you in the house that like tomatoes. Why are you growing 100 freaking plants? And I realized because I have an addictive nature. And sometimes we have to feel that addiction with something. We get addicted to something else, but something a lot more healthier, just like gardening. It was my thing, and it still is today. And that's how I feel that time 20 years ago when I got sober. I would go out and do stuff like that, and it really was great therapy for me. Now, I understand some of you may live in town where you can always garden with flower pots. It don't take a big area like I've got to do the gardening. And like I said, you may be into something else. Go ahead. One of the greatest things in my life was that my kids, just like Mary told you earlier, my kids have forgiven me also, and they've traveled with me over the years. Now, the little boy in the gray shirt is about to be 19 years old. I found out when I woke up in Nashville that my wife Amy was pregnant with him. He was our 7th child, and now he's about to be 19. So all of them are grown, but these are pictures from where they was with me in South Dakota, and they would travel with me over the years, and we would do these programs. One of the things that I wanted to do when I was young was go to college, play ball, and become a basketball coach. You can imagine how I thought that dream was long gone after being a drug addict and shooting myself and going to prison. And yet, a few years ago, some people come up and ask me, would I coach these little girls' basketball team? And I said, are you kidding me? I said, have you talked to their parents? And they said, yeah, we told the parents, and every one of the parents was okay with it. They said they knew you wasn't like you used to be. And so for 2 years, I coached them little girls, and I couldn't believe, thank you very much. And I really couldn't believe how wonderful God was to give me that dream. Even though it was different than I had dreamed as a kid, I still got to experience that. And I want to tell you, if you're here today and you're struggling with addiction and you've lost a lot of things in your life and the old devil has just beat you down, I promise you, I'm not lying to you, God can give you all that back and even more. Just like this experience for me. Go ahead. That's just pictures of my kids. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. And of course, there's my first little grandson. I have 3 grandkids now. I never dreamed in my wildest imaginations 30 years ago I would ever live to see grandchildren. And yet, I've lived to see 3 of them so far. And that's my wife. That's my daughter Sarah over here. The oldest one is Sarah. Josiah, we call Bam Bam. David and Rachel and Abigail and Rebecca and Gabriel and my wife, of course, Amy. I want to tell you, if you're here and you're struggling and you're young, there is somebody coming to this earth one day that's going to need you more than you could ever imagine. There is no way that we can comprehend that when we're real young, that there's actually somebody headed to this earth that ain't here yet that is going to need you so bad. So please stick around. Don't do anything to hurt yourself, because with you gone, that person that's on their way here is not going to have you, and they're really going to need you. Now, I know a lot of people feel alone. They don't have any friends, and they think that it'd be better to leave, but I'm telling you, there's somebody coming. Whether it be your kid or your cousin or your niece or nephew, there's somebody coming to this earth on their way here that ain't here yet that's going to need you real bad. Go ahead. Go ahead, one more. Now, I wrote a book a few years ago, probably 10, 15 years ago. My hope was the book would be here long after I was dead and gone, helping young people make better choices. And we've heard a lot of good things about the book. You can get one, a used one online on Amazon for about $1. What I suggest is if you got somebody that you want to read that book, like an uncle or a kid that's an adult kid or something, if you try to hand it to them, a lot of times people that's in right in the middle of addiction will get offended and they'll say, I don't need that. I don't have any problems. What I suggest is you take this, a Bible, whatever it is, pamphlets, put them on the back of your toilet in your bathroom. And when those people come over and use your bathroom and shut that door and know nobody's looking, they're more likely to pick that whatever it is up and start reading it. And who knows what little something may cause them to want to go to some NA meetings and get some help. Also, if you got somebody that you love, tell them that you'll give them a ride to NA. You may have to do all the work. You may have to look and see where they're having the meetings and what time the meetings are. And sometimes people feel more comfortable going to the next county where nobody knows them. Now, they may tell you that they don't want to go right then, but when you tell them that you'll give them a ride when they're getting ready, don't be surprised when they call 6 months later and say, will you give me a ride? And like I said, you may have to put all the work in, but it's definitely worth it. You may end up saving their life. I want to thank you for allowing me to come and speak to you. And thank you for being so nice and courteous. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David, for that powerful testimony and for all that you do for everyone. Let's give another round of applause for David Parnell. Wow, this day has been full of amazing speakers, huh? It's been incredible. And maybe a little bit this speaks to, one of the poll results that I most recently got from Clinton was that 100% of you that responded to the polls believe recovery is possible, right? And I also need to put in a correction. So mathing is not a strong suit for me. All I had to do was look at a picture, though, if I'm being real honest. The last poll results I shared with you, about 79% of people having suicidal thoughts in the last 30 days, 21%. I flipped them. My bad. I'm still glad you're here, whoever that encompasses. All right, so last but certainly not least, let me introduce you to another one of my friends and the person who envisioned this whole thing that you're experiencing today. Through her own lived experience, H.O.P.E was called to action, and it all started with the hosting of a documentary showing right here at Sweetwater. A little over 4 years ago, Jen was a mom on a mission to pay forward the gift of recovery that was given to her family. Jen did this by hosting a showing of the documentary Recovery Boys inside at Sweetwater's theater here. She contacted local organizations asking if they would like to set up a resource table for that evening, not unlike what we have here today. And when they would ask who she was or what organization she was with, she would tell them her name and that she was simply a mom trying to help. Who knew that documentary showing 2 years ago would 2 years later morph into this event called Recovery Rocks? It's amazing what putting yourself out there can do. Please, please, please help me with the biggest, warmest welcome to the stage for H.O.P.E, founder and executive director of Mom of an Addict. With you. Thank you.
All right, we are almost there, everybody. Hold tight with us. We're going to make it. I want to thank you for being here. No matter what brought you here today, thank you. Thank you for taking the time for yourself. Thank you for making yourself a priority. You're worth it. I'm glad you're here. You've made today better. I'm gonna wander back over here to my notes. I want to thank our sponsors again. They were thanked in the beginning, so I'm not going to list them by name, but we're so grateful. This day wouldn't happen without them. This day also would not happen without more than 70 different volunteers who have put in countless hours to put all of this together for you. So I'm grateful. All of you volunteers, you mean more to me than I can imagine. I want to give a special thanks to my life group. If I say something, they don't question me. They just show up. I want to thank my family. That my son Jake isn't here today. You might have heard a couple years ago he was sharing that he's in recovery. If you've not been here before, he has about 5.5 years. So today's a good day. Today's good. He's not able to be here. He told you 2 years ago he was hoping to get into law school, and he did. So he has class in the morning, and he lives about 6 hours away, so he got a pass. I want to thank my husband, Ian. He comes along with all of my ideas. He doesn't complain. He just shows up. So thank you, Ian. Okay, we've got a slide. If you want a little more hope next weekend up in South Bend, there's this thing happening called the Recover Michiana Fest. It's at Howard Park, and I think it's from 12 to 5, maybe. Yeah, here. 2/8 Band is going to be there again, so you can get a little more of their great music, and they've got a different lineup of speakers. So next Sunday in South Bend. And now it's my honor to introduce our last two speakers of the day. Again, amazing people who have come into my life. Murray Hunt is the executive director of the 13 Step House. If you know Murray, you know he's a big personality. Murray gives great hugs. Everybody knows that. He's in recovery himself, and he's been working in the recovery field for 5 years. He has a passion for helping others find the joy in recovery and believes that as long as we are breathing, there's hope. And then the second person I'd like to introduce is definitely one of those volunteers who put in countless hours today. So here joining Murray Hunt is Jenny Westropp, Joe's mom.
Thank you, Jen. Hey, group, I'm Murray, and I'm also a recovering alcoholic. What a great, great event today. It's amazing. The turnout, I think they counted, it was almost 900 people that have been through here today. That's incredible. For the third year, that's amazing. And I know Jen just went through and thanked all the volunteers and the speakers and all that kind of stuff, but you know who does all this, who organizes, it's Jennifer H.O.P.E, and she's amazing. Can we have a huge, we're proud for Jen. Thank you, Jen. So the word that I was given was recognize. And I had to think about what that meant to me. And I thought about before I came into recovery and what I thought an alcoholic or an addict was. And in my head, an alcoholic was the guy living under the bridge, drinking out of the brown paper bag with the trench coat. And the addict was the guy behind the 7-Eleven next to the dumpster shooting up. And that's what it was in my head. And then I came into recovery. And I got to recognize that our outsides all look different, you know? The alcoholic can be the mom with the husband and the 2.5 perfectly well-adjusted children and the bottle of wine in the laundry because she cannot imagine getting through the day living that same space between her ears. Or it can be the guy who is popping Xanax like they're Tic Tacs because if he is in his own space up here, if he lives like we're supposed to live, that he would not be able to survive the day. So what I learned when I came into recovery is our outsides all look different. They look completely different. But I got to recognize that what happens is that space inside, that emptiness, the loneliness, the despair, all of those things, we all get to that same place in order to be forced to reach out and ask for help. And in that respect, we are all alike. So then I come into recovery and I finally get to understand this and I start thinking, okay, so this is what I am. I am Murray and I am an alcoholic and I'm in recovery and that is who and what I am. And maybe I needed to feel that for a while. But what that does to me is that limits me. And I've learned as I've been around a little longer to recognize that I am more than just a recovering alcoholic. It is just a fact about me. It will be a truth about me forever. As long as I'm breathing, that is a part of who I am. But I'm more than that. It's just a fact about me, like I'm 6'4", like I'm 58, like I'm gay, like I love Brussels sprouts, you know? It's just a piece of me. And since it doesn't define me, that allows me to be open and allows me to say, yeah, I'm in recovery. I'm an alcoholic and I'm in recovery. To anyone that I think it will do good. Even to those sometimes that I don't think will. You know, before I started to understand this, if somebody said, hey, let's go out for a beer, my response was, oh, I'm driving, I can't do that. Or, oh, look at the time, I gotta be up tomorrow, I gotta go. Because that is not who I am today, I can say, dude, I'm in recovery, and you pronounce coffee wrong. You know, let's go get coffee. And today today it is just a very small piece of who I am, and it will always be true, and I always have to be able to take care of it. I have to do it just like somebody who has high blood pressure or diabetes. It is daily action I have to take. But what it doesn't do is when I make it all of who I am, it starts to break that connection that I have with people that are not in recovery, that are not my people. And since the whole idea is to make connections with other humans, that's what our addiction took away from us, is that connection. When I can be comfortable with knowing that it's just a part of me, I can make those connections. I can say things like, I'm in recovery. Hey, let's go grab a cup of coffee. And so many times that something like that has happened where it wasn't at a meeting, it wasn't somebody reaching out to me, it was just, I just spoke the truth about me and somebody saying, oh my God, my son is having such a hard time. Do you have any ideas? Do you have anything that could help him? Or, dude, how do you do that? I can't imagine getting through the day without a beer. It has opened the doors, it has allowed me to make connections and recognize that that is so important to me and to help combat my addiction. Today I get to recognize that I am not just my addiction. It does not define me today. And for a long time it did. And I'm grateful that today it's just a part of me. It's a part of me that I'll always have. And it's a part of me that I can share today because I'm more than that. And I think that's all I got, so I'll keep coming back. Jenny, what you doing with the suitcase? You been on a trip?
Yes. Yes, I have. Hello, Murray. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. Jenny Westropp, everybody. Joe's mom.
I love that guy. He always welcomes me with open arms like that. So I'm Jenny, Joe's mom. All right. My topic is Rethink. Joe Westropp lived at the 13-step house for about 3 weeks until he overdosed and died in November 2019 when he was 22. After Joe died, something drew me back to the house, the 13-step house, and I know now that it was God. Because after I drummed up the courage to join the open meetings at noon there, I find myself often rethinking what this journey of loss, grief, and time watching Joe's life fall apart to alcohol and drugs is supposed to be about. I mean, what is the purpose of all of that pain? So last month, I went on a silent retreat at this place called the Abbey of Gethsemane, and it's in Kentucky. And it was a 5-day retreat. And so I was very excited because it was a silent retreat, no talking aloud. I said, my life is crazy, I need silence. Well, I overpacked. Not only did I bring my overnight bag with my clothes, I also brought this loaded with my AA books, 24-hour-a-day book, my journals, Joe's journals, etc., etc. Well, that was, I needed to rethink that because unfortunately, I came to the conclusion that I should not have come to this place, this holy place, with an agenda on my own because God was running the show there. So I have a story to tell from there. But before I lose my things, I'm going to set something on the floor. All right. So here's the story. My visit, it's August, it's Kentucky, the weather is hot, right? So I should have done some rethinking as I packed to consider the activities I might be doing since there were woods and acreage there. So that might require jeans, long socks, a hoodie, or a hat, like for walking in the woods. So I only wound up taking one walk in the woods, and I wore my pajama pants pulled down and tucked into my shorty socks, and my shirt pulled up over my head like this because the mosquitoes, like they were buzzing in my ears all this time. And it was so upsetting to me because I thought, why am I even doing this? I mean, the statue of Jesus is supposed to be somewhere at the top of this hill, and I wasn't quite sure if I was going to find it. And so I was just going and going. It was hot, and I was sweating, and I'm fighting the bugs. And then I saw it. I saw Jesus at the top of that hill, and it was pretty awesome. So he was holding his hands, as you can see, right? Holding his hands in agony. That is a statue of Jesus in agony at the top of this hill. So I went to the statue, and I was hot and sweaty, and I fell to the ground, and I sobbed. I just cried out loud. There was no one else there on this hike, because I would have probably asked them for bug spray on the way. And then I thought, well, what do I do next? I mean, maybe God's here, maybe, Joe's here, maybe, John, my late husband, is watching me or something. So I gave that statue a big hug, right? I went up and just hugged him right there around the chest. And I put my ear to his chest, hoping that I would hear a heartbeat, some sort of sign. But no, it was hollow, and I could just hear my crying sort of echoing in there. So I came back from that walk, and I didn't even think about writing this speech after that because I knew I had some other work to do in dealing with my grief. So when I got back to Fort Wayne, I told my dear friend Mary this story about the statue and finding Jesus on the hill. And I told her, I do not know what I'm going to say to these people in just 5 minutes. It can't be that hard. So Mary said, Jenny, what are 3 things that you want your audience to walk away remembering? I said, I don't know. So this week, after the Wednesday noon meeting at the 13-step house, we read through the September 15th meditation for the day, and I thought, oh my gosh, that is it. This is what I'm going to talk about. And I got really, really, really excited. Okay? Then I'm driving, and I'm turning left off of Nelson Street, and I kid you not, I hear Joe, and he's saying, I heard this voice, and I know it was Joe. He's saying, because Joe says, Ma. That's how he addresses me, is Ma. He says, Ma, don't make it hard. So I thought to myself, all right, okay, Joe. So I do have 3 things. They're short. The first thing, okay, it's clear. We all know stigma is terrible. It makes us say, think, and do really dumb things. Stigma comes from lack of education and fear of what we see and hear about stories of addicts, alcoholics that we do not understand. But we should ask ourselves, how often do we take the time to even try to understand? And I believe that we have to fix this. We have to make time to spend time with the people in recovery, with people who are struggling, with people who have mental illness. We need to give them our time and our ear and learn their stories and understand how difficult and how seemingly impossible it is for so many of these fellows to conquer this illness of addiction and alcoholism. I hear their stories, and I am moved. If any of you think that you might like to come to the 13-step house, meet Murray, do some more chatting, I do try and go 2 or 3 times a week, and they have meetings at noon, and they are open to anyone, so anyone can go, okay? I say, I'm Jenny, Joe's mom, and they all say, well, I'm Jenny. Second point is about grief. Grief can be terrible. And I can only speak about grief first as a young widow, second as a mom. And when my grief brings me to my knees, I might be alone at Joe's grave or during my chapel hour, and certainly like that day with Jesus on the hill, right? I can relate to Jesus' mother Mary when they say that it was like 7 swords piercing her heart. Okay, I know what that feels like. And I know a lot of the other moms that I've met today whose, children are being honored under that tent with those special honor baskets. They felt it too. And we have a community, and we are in need of support as well. Why does this hurt so much? Why does it hurt so much? It's because when we love hard, we grieve hard. And these concepts of grief and love are tightly intertwined. So I rethink the 12-step promises now, because when I take my grief and my love forward with the things that I choose to do, including going to those meetings, I see those promises coming true for me, every one of them, and I verified this on Hot Dog Friday just a couple days ago. All right, so one last thing to share. I want you to know a little bit about my son, Joe. All right, so after he died, I assembled a trilogy. It's like a giant volume. It's kind of like Star Wars. He loves Star Wars, but like books, notebooks like this big. I had to split them up into 3, right? And they were about his life, and people sent me photos and letters about how they loved him, and people, in recovery that he'd known wrote to me. And so anyhow, it's this beautiful thing, this beautiful creation. The neat thing about this book and the neat thing about my life is that the pieces of his addiction and recovery that he left behind, including his journals, are in his own writing. And those give me some clues, and those give me some hope for some of the other fellas who are out, and the other gals who are out trying to survive this really terrible disease. So with that, I'd like to read a little bit from Joe's journal. And this is the second page of a letter that he wrote to God. And it was while he was in recovery and treatment in Park Center in April of 2019. And remember, he died in November of 2019. So while I am reading this, I would like for all of you to please rethink the concepts of stigma, grief, and love that I talked about earlier. His writing is terrible. That's why I'm going to read it. For a long time, I was so blinded and bound by my pain, I lost sight of you. I cast you out as a hateful, ruling God, even one that had some evil in him. Then I did away with you altogether, not believing you even existed. You are a loving, caring God. You love me so much, you are willing to give me my independence and watch me choose to destroy myself with that independence. However, you must have known that it would bring me back around to find you. For that, I am forever grateful. And when I went back and read that part, I thought, wow, so Joe, he was rethinking a lot. Here is his prayer. Father, please show me the next step, the next best step. Give me guidance that I may be of better service to you and to those around me. Help me to expel judgment from my mind so that I may humble myself and know that I am not any better than those whom I might judge. Free me from the shackles that hold me down so that I may live loved in this life and spread my love and your love to those around me. Grant me the courage to change the things I am doing wrong in my life so that I may be a better testament to your will. Amen. Your son, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Amazing as always.
I feel like we're rock stars now on the stage.
Guys, everybody stand up for a minute. We're going to do a little sobriety countdown, a little bend and stretch and reach for the stars. Here comes Jupiter, there goes Mars.
Everyone needed a stretch break, so this is a great idea. Yeah.
All right, so if you have 1 day of sobriety, congratulations, and you may sit down.
Okay. If you have a week of sobriety or less, please sit down.
If you have 30 days or less, sit down. You know where this is going, right?
If you have 6 months or less, take a seat.
Ooh, you changed it up there. I like that.
I know.
Yeah.
We should be on TV.
Yeah. If you have a year or less, sit down.
I like it. Okay.
Yeah, baby.
All right, now we're going year by year. Let's do 2 years. Nice. Awesome.
3 years.
I love it. Thank you for clapping for your fellow recovering man and woman. 4 years.
Yeah. 5 years. Yeah.
And now 6.
Yeah. 7 years. All right.
And 8.
Yeah. 9 years.
And 1 decade. 10. 1 decade.
11.
And 12.
13.
14.
15.
How about, how many people are still standing?
4. We got 4 standing.
All right, how about 20?
20. We still got 2 standing.
How many people are standing?
2.
They're winners.
We got 2.
You were winners. You win t-shirts. Yippee
Okay.
skip.
Find me after this, and we'll get you both
Let's
guys
give a
t-shirts,
big
okay?
round of applause for our 2
How many years?
finalists.
How many years?
All right.
Yeah, baby.
Well, I'm quite glad we didn't go 1 by 1 year after that.
That would have taken a minute.
Yeah, we need to get back to those activities. All right.
All right, 2 more things. The silent auction bidding closes at 5:40. And the other thing is Recovery Rocks 2020. That doesn't say 3. It's supposed to say 3. Next year, we hope you all come out for the same place, same channel. Come on out. We'll do it bigger and better this year, and like it keeps growing every year. And thanks you guys for being here. Come back and see us.
Thanks, everyone.
We're gonna have some fun. Don't you dare look back. Just keep your eyes on me. I said you're holding back. You said shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. Ooh. Shut up and dance with me. we were victims of the night. A chemical, physical kryptonite help us to the base and the faded light. Oh, we were bound to get together, bound to get together. She took my arm, I don't know how it happened. We hit the floor and she said, yeah, don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. I said, you're holding back. She said, shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. Shut up and dance with me. A backless dress and some beat up sleeves. My discotheque, Juliet, teenage dream. I felt it in my chest as she looked at me. I knew we were bound to get together, bound to get together. She took my arm, I don't know how it happened. We hit the floor and she said, yeah, don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. I said, you're holding back. She said, shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. Ooh, shut up and dance with me. I realized this is my last chance. She took my arm, I don't know how it happened. We hit the floor and she said, guys, thanks so much for coming out today and celebrating this morning. Don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. Said you're holding back. She said, shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. Shut up and dance, don't you dare look back. Keep your eyes on me. I said you're holding back. She said, shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. Ooh, shut up and dance with me. Shut up and dance with me. This song I wrote called Been Here Before. Here we go. I found myself here all alone. Broken bottles on the floor. I can't recall just where I've been. Oh, help me. I've been here before. I take it off familiar hand. They led me to this promised land. I can't get out, I'm too far in. Oh, help me, yeah. It's been here so long. lost my way. It's been so long since I've been home. I'm gonna find my way. It's been so long since I've been home. I lost my way, lost my way. It's been so long since I've been home. I'm gonna find my way.
Thank you.
Heading down south to the land of the pine. On my way to North Carolina. Stand up the road and pray to God I see headlights. Made it up the coast in 17 hours. Picking me a bouquet of dogwood flowers. Hoping for early I can see my baby tonight. Me and mama like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, hey, mama, rock me. Run from the cold right up here in Indiana. Born to be a fiddler, old-time string band. Baby plays the guitar, I pick a banjo now. Oh no, don't you win to keep getting me down. Lost my money playing poker and I had to leave town. Ain't turning back to living that old life no more. Rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, hey, mama, rock me. Come on, Sky, take it over out here. Rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, yeah, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, yeah, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, yeah, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, yeah, mama, rock me.
See a few of you dancing out there, look good. So great to be with you today. For when we're gonna play a song that we wrote called You're In This, and I'm gonna teach you just a little bit of it before we play it full band. Again, one of the songs that we wrote in 2020 for Indiana's recovery community. And yeah, it's called You're In This. Here we go. Let me play it just a little bit so they can learn it. Yeah. This is how the bridge goes. Wanna start seeing the way that you see me. I believe it, but I wanna know the way that you love me. Oh, you love me. I wanna start seeing the way that you see me. I believe it, but I wanna know the way that you love me. Here's the chorus. You love me, 'cause oh, you're not finished. I know you're in this, you're in this. You're in the battle. I know you win this, oh, you win this. The story's not over, it's just begun. 'Cause you see the person I'm meant to become. Oh, you're not finished. I know you're in this, you're in this. Goes like that. Let's try it out. Story, you know it well. I've been caught in the middle of heaven and hell, and I know you see me, the places out there. Oh, but you're not ashamed to call me your friend. And I wanna be as far as the east is from the west, from the places I have been. I wanna know that I'm forgiven. Oh, you're not finished. I know you're in this, you're in this. You're in the battle. I know you win this, but you win this. Story's not over, it's just begun. You see the person I'm meant to become. Oh, you're not finished. I know you're in this, you're in this. Is your story, and it's who you are. Yeah, you never turn away, or hold back your heart. You're calling me as far as the east is from the west, or from the places I have been, and into your arms again. Oh, you're not finished. I know you're in this, you're in this. You're in the battle. I know you win this, oh, you win this. Story's not over, it's just begun. You see the person I'm meant to become. Oh, you're not finished. I know you're in this, you're in this. I wanna start seeing the way that you see me. I believe it, but I wanna know the way that you love me. Oh, you love me. I wanna start seeing the way that you see me. I believe it, but I wanna know the way that you love me, you love me. So you're not finished. I know you're in this, you're in this. You're in the battle. Oh, you're not finished. I know you're in this, you're in this. You're in the battle. I know you win this, and you win this. Story's not over, it's just begun. You see the person I'm meant to become. Oh, you're not finished. I know you're in this, you're in this. You're in this. Wanna start seeing the way that you see me. I believe it, but I wanna know the way that you love me. Yeah, you love me.
You've been walking the same old road for miles and miles. You've been hearing the same old voice tell the same old lie. And if you're trying to fill the same old holes inside, but there's a better life. There's a better life. So if you got pain, he's a pain taker. You feel lost, he's a way maker. If you need freedom or saving, he's a prison shaking savior. If you got chains, well, he's a chain breaker. And we've all searched for the light, the dead of night. We've all found ourselves worn out by the same old fight. We've all run to things we know that just ain't right. There's a better life. Oh, there's a better life. So if you got pain, he's a pain taker. If you feel lost, he's a way maker. Shaking savior, you got chains, but he's a chain breaker. If you believe it, if you receive it, if you can feel it, somebody testify it. If you believe it, I hear it. If you receive it, if you can feel it, somebody testify, testify. If you believe it, if you receive it, if you can feel it, somebody testify, yeah. If you got pain, he's a pain taker. If you feel low, yeah, he's a way you make. Shaking savior, you got chains. He's a chain breaker. Yeah, he's a leader or savior. He's a prison shaking savior. You got chains. He's a chain breaker. Yeah, he's a chain breaker. Oh, he's a chain breaker. All right, as you're hanging out and tearing down a little bit, connecting with other people, I want to thank you again for getting to hang out with you guys today. We're 2-8 band from Indianapolis. Got a few more songs still to play. One more time. Thank you, Loriana, for being here on the keys. Brian Fitzpatrick on the kit. My friend Scott Boer on bass. Scott Naylor on lead guitar. We keep the Scots on that side of the stage, so we keep it straight. But we're 2-8. Great to be with you guys. We got... One second here. We got a Les Paul coming out here. Okay. You, sir, are you a musician by chance? Oh, usually the one sitting... Okay. You say you're a drummer, but you're not a musician. We've had this conversation.
Hang on. Is that shots fired? Did you just take a shot at the drums like it's not a real instrument? Excuse me, sir. I beg to differ.
We've had this conversation many times. That's great. What kind of drum set do you have? You own a drum set? Okay. What kind was it? A Pearl? Tama? A Pearl, probably? Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
You know.
Uh-huh.
Ryan just played a gig last night, too. He does this for a living, actually.
Kind of.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. You just tell me when you're getting closer here on that Les Paul. We want to hear that thing before we play this. This is a song called Friend. We're going to play for you guys here, but we got to make sure. We got a slide guitar coming out. I mean, okay. Sounds good to me. I think we have just enough line arrays, to cover this next song here, so we'll see how it works, but I know, right? You're one of them. All right, take me there, Fitz. Here we go. what's coming next. Maybe it's time to let go of what we're wrong. Yeah, you've been here so long, just thinking it over. Yeah, you've been here so long. Maybe it's time to move along. So tell me where you wanna go from here. I know you have stayed. You stayed here for a while. What kind of friend would I be? What kind of friend would I be? Tell me, what kind of friend would I be if I never, ever, ever helped you move along? So take your time, 'cause it takes time to change. Then one day we'll never be the same. Yeah, you've been here so long, just thinking it over. Yeah, you've been here so long. Maybe it's time to move along. Yeah. So tell me where you wanna go from here. I know you have stayed. You stayed here for a while. So what kind of friend would I be? What kind of friend would I be? Tell me, what kind of friend would I be if I never, ever, ever helped you move along? I wanna help you move along. Oh, you've been here so long, just thinking it over. Yeah, you've been here so long, it's time to move along. Yeah, you've been here so long, just thinking it over. Yeah, you've been here so long, it's time to move along. Yeah. So tell me where you wanna go from here. I know you have stayed here for a while. What kind of friend would I be? What kind of friend would I be? Tell me, what kind of friend would I be if I never, ever, ever helped you move along? I wanna help you move along. I wanna help you move along. Oh yeah, one more. Times in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me, help me out. When you're not strong, I'll be your friend. And I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long. I hear back there, I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Come on, Scott. Swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those are your needs that you only show. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend, and I'll help you carry on. I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. And you can call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. And I just might have a problem you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Yeah, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lead. Come on, one more time, bring it around. You guys have an awesome rest of your day. So great hanging out with you. You carry on. Oh, it won't be long. I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. We all need somebody to lean on. God bless you guys.